Holy shit!
Oh my god, it's so bright. Oh my god. Holy shit, dude. That thing looks freaking crazy.
Rewind. Rewind.
Yes! Yes! $69!
I'm gonna aim so far above his head.
Rewind.
I don't have superpowers yet, do I? Oh, he's got big eyes. Where is superpowers? Do it. One shot him. Oh my god, he did. Wait, he one shot Cole.
Rewind.
Yo guys, what is up? Yo guys, what is up? Yo guys, 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 yo guys. Yo guys, how we doing today? Welcome to our stream. How we doing? How we doing? Welcome in. What's up, Dead Bones? AB. Oh, by the way, real quick, this is my first ever stream at 1440p. I was approved by Twitch to be one of the people that has permission to stream at 1440p. So yeah, big upgrade. Let me know how it looks. If it sucks, we could go back down to 1080. But today's stream is in 1440p. What Claptrap video? They posted a Claptrap video. It's like, hey, Claptrap's back, and he's funny, type deal. Explosive Fear, thank you for the 34 months. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, you should have the option if you're on like mobile or can't support 1440p. You should still have the option to like watch in 360p or 720. But yeah, I'm also gonna be trying to upload our YouTube videos in 1440p. I usually stream at 6,000 bitrate as well, which bitrate determines kind of like the pixelation of the stream. And today we are streaming on YouTube at 20,000 bitrate, so it should be more than doubly looking nice. Render them in 1440p as well. Yup. Oh, it does look like it's either 1440p or 720 on Twitch. Interesting. Mudib, thanks so much for the Twitch Prime. Appreciate that. Have I seen the skills yet? I haven't read through them, no. I did see that they're available, but I haven't like spoiled it for myself yet. We were just gonna do that all live. Looks great. Hell yeah. We love to hear that. Do you see the second link I sent? The second link. Boom, 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 boom. Let me see. Yeah. He's been DMing me, CZ. He like sent me a drive link and all that. All right, let's do this. Let's dive in. So by the way, what the source of this is remember how I was saying that there was like some streamer that was playing Blue Tree, and then their VOD got deleted? That same person is the person who moused over all of the trees. Like that, a lot of the streamers' gameplay that we've seen so far looked like people that had never played Borderlands. No offense, but like, you know what I mean? Like, they just clearly weren't Borderlands people. One of these guys did seem to be a Borderlands gamer, and they moused over every single skill. I don't know if they've posted their gameplay of Blue Tree that I haven't checked for yet, but we're basically gonna work on a sheet of every single one of these skills and translating all of them because they moused over everything. You showered. I showered before every stream. There's been like 3 streams I haven't showered for. You have the augments in 360p. I have them in 1080p. I got them in 1080p. Yeah, if anyone speaks or translates Chinese fluently, that'd be super helpful. But I was just gonna put them all into like Google Translate. You couldn't get the footage in 1080p. I had to give Billy all of my personal information, my mother's maiden name and social security number, but I can watch now in 1080. King, we haven't decided on that yet. We're gonna start building out the planner for AMON with this. Whether we make it public or not, we haven't decided yet. Haven't decided on that yet. Time to learn Chinese, buddy. DSLR camera. True. Like, I think a lot of people probably wouldn't care if we use these translations to build out the skill tree. I'm thinking we just do it because when we get the actual translations, we'll already have like 90% of the work done. You know what I mean? So like, I think it'll probably be worth doing. But yeah, I mean, like, we can get most of the work done now, technically. All right, let's get to translating. Took you ages to translate the augments? Really? We're gonna be trying to be speedy. By the way, does anyone want to help me with this? So here's what we're gonna do. Well, you kind of need to be able to view them at 1080p. But what I want to do is this. We're going to translate all of them. But like, how much are you paying? I'll buy your next sub. I want to make a Google Doc and organize them like this. So it'll be like AMON Red Tree, and then all the translated images in a row. So it's like this skill, this skill, this skill, this skill, augment. You know what I mean? Can you change the language in the preview build? I mean, I don't have access to a preview build, so that wouldn't even matter. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna invite people to add to it. Like I could do olive red tree, and then CZ could do blue tree, and then PJ could do green tree. You know what I mean? And we could knock this out real fast. The only thing is you have to make an account on Billy to view it at 1080p. Has a video with all of the translated skills? All of the translated skills? I thought it was just the augments. Thought it was just augments, not all the skills. Bro, sent me that link? It's all of the skills? Oh, it is all of the skills.
Yeah, if you weren't thinking about playing AMON,
I thought it was the same link. Bum, 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 bum. In my head again. All right, I'm gonna use this to build out the document then. Don't. Could use the image translator. Yeah. I don't know if this is going to be any better because it looks like he was viewing it at 1080p or 360p as well. You know what I mean? Like the skill descriptions they don't read very well. It starts blurry but goes to 1080p. Yeah, these later ones are more clear. Blue and green are fine. It's just red. Yeah, red's a bit blurry. I can't wait. I can hear them now. You also don't read very well? Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Graham knows. I know you're in here. Just released the English version. I actually DM'd Gearbox this morning saying, "Hey guys, like, there's no point in hiding this anymore. We have it. It's just gonna make our lives and our audience's lives better if you just put out the trays." Do 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 do. Okay, let's just do red tree then. Let's just do red tree and we can use green and blue from him. The jig is up. Yeah, jig's up.
Oh, that's a lot
Time to
of
drop
time.
him.
AMON hypey mystic listen.
Do, do, do. Bum, bum, bum. Yo, J Crip, thanks so much for the 2 months. Appreciate that. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull up a decent translator for us. That is not what I'm looking for. Love the new skill tree design. It looks pretty sick. Apparently, Google Lens is built into Google Chrome if we're searching on it. That's not going to translate this actual... It translated all of these. It's not going to translate the video, though. It doesn't translate in video. Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Just translated the thing you've pulled up with ChatGPT by inputting the image. I mean, I was just going to use Google. I could just use Google Translate. Tilla the Hunt, thanks for the Twitch Prime. Appreciate that. Thank you. You just making a video out of the translations? Is this going to be a stream thing? Well, we're like working on it on stream, and then I'm going to condense it into a YouTube video. Wouldn't this be a waste of time when they actually release the English version? Yes, absolutely. But we might not get the English version for another 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know when they're dropping them. The reply I got from Gearbox does not give me hope that they're going to be out soon. Dun, 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 dun. Watching and waiting for you to finish. Yeah. Do you enjoy the spoilers? I wouldn't consider a skill tree a spoiler. To be honest with you. Post all the bobbleheads? I thought it was a little silly. Little silly. Not that big of a deal, but a little silly. Ooh. That's not good. I hit the record button and the frame rate dropped again. Like, you're gonna, within the first 5 minutes of you playing and booting up AMON, you're gonna see literally his entire skill tree. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I wouldn't consider that in spoiler territory. Dingus broke his setup again. We upgraded to 1440p from 1080. So I'm trying to, this is our first stream with it. I'm trying to see if things work still. This looks like it breaks, though, as soon as I hit the record button. May have to do 1080p recording. Your cam has been doing the same thing? Only when you record, gas mask? Boom, 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 boom. We could offload some of that onto the CPU later. Okay. I did see it, no name. Deactivate, activate. I mean, it's fine right now. Like, it works perfectly. It's like literally the millisecond I hit the record button. I just started recording and streaming and uploading and everything in 1440p today. So I was kind of half expecting to have some issues. No, there's no melee weapons. All right, well, for now, let's just compile all of this into a thing. Let's compile it all into a spreadsheet. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's that skill. This one's shield recovery. This one's burn damage. This is gonna get real messy. If I put them all in the tree like this, can I like open their image in like a new tab or something like that? If I put them all here? You know what I mean? Because like I can't read them like this. I can zoom in, but that doesn't really help us too much. Like, you're not gonna be able to read that on a video. Hyperlink them? Let's see. That doesn't seem to work. No, I mean, I'm just putting the link from the Google Translate, but it's not a valid link, I guess. You watched the Claptrap video? Yeah, I did. Would Google Slides be better? Yeah, it probably would be. I was gonna try to format it like a... Boom. Set image as background. Why is this so zoomed in? What the heck is going on? There it is. It's like a normal view. View slideshow. Okay, that looks decent, actually. I don't know how to get to the next slide. Oh, you know what? They're the same image. It probably is going to the next slide. I just didn't realize it. Okay. That works. That works. Oh, God. Ultimate resolution right there. Yeah, that looked really good. Okay. We should be cooking now. Should be zooming now. I just need to put this, merge it into this, and we're moving. Go. Why are you making a PowerPoint? Because it's really hard to view and manage in it's really hard to view and manage in a spreadsheet. Because you can't like zoom in on the images or open them up in a new tab or anything like that. It's like actually a pain in the ass. But like, look at this. Oh, that one didn't translate. But you get what I mean. Like, you could just view them full screen, full resolution. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'm just gonna use his vid for the other trees. It just the red tree was bad quality. So we're only just gonna do the red tree. Knock that out real quick. Take me down to the Paradise City. Slide, new slide. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. I'm just gonna click through these real quick, and like I'm not gonna read them out, but let's all put them one together, and that way we can read them all at once at the same time to like put it together. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, it's like read this and then a minute later read the next thing. Let me put it all into a presentation, and then we'll read it all together so that like, you know, it's fluid and we'll record it. Without transitions. Yeah. No, this will work. This will look nice. You get nervous reading out loud. I'll be doing the reading. I also get nervous reading out loud, which is weird that this is not my job. Looking crisp AF. We are one of the few streamers that is allowed to stream in 1440p. I just got approved. So yeah, it should be the crispiest it's ever been, technically. I don't know why that one didn't work. I need to get approval for that. I needed to like ask Twitch for approval, yeah. There was like a review process of my channel. We need this on Skill Tree Planner ASAP. We're working on it. We're working on it. This is gonna be like, I mean, I know this is taking a second, but this is gonna be relatively fast because we only have to do red tree. Boom. How's it going? Palms, it's going great today. Husky, thanks so much for the T1 for 8 months. Thank you. We are building out the AMON presentation. Okay, we got that skill. Onto this one. I'm really excited to see what all these things do. melee focused? I think so too, yeah. Even, I mean, that's mainly just from all of the icons having fists on them. Okay, looks like we're starting here next. Does he go right to there? Yeah, okay. How was I supposed to know that you were, over me? Boom, 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 boom. Oopsies. Article about playing AMON, though, you think they had prepped, they would have dropped it once we got the gameplay? Surely, like, surely if they have this stuff coming out, they're, like, gonna be dropping more AMON info sooner rather than later. Like, they know that we're seeing all this stuff now. Oh, so did you recruit? BizCap. I recruited BizCap. Do you feel like coming on? Force of nature. Cool, cool, cool. Keep going, keep blasting, keep blasting. Send me this stuff. I don't know if there's anything to send you right now, to be honest with you. Oh, this is kind of weird. I just realized that he's going across the top row, which obviously makes sense. But I might format it so that it's all in one tree. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit confusing. Yeah. Now he's changing the order. Wait, you missed this right tree. Okay. Let me I'm gonna make it so it's all in kind of more in order that makes sense. Like coming on. Okay, we already saw that skill. That skill we just got. Boom, 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 boom. Did he miss top right and middle? No, we got that. Charlie, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. What's happening in D2? Their DLC drops tomorrow. Bum 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 bum. Do, 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 do. Look, they haven't advertised it much. I don't know if there's that much to advertise about it. Apparently, people are calling it like a quality of life DLC. Okay, that's that tree done. And then we've got these done. And then we go back. Slide. New slide. Less than 2 months till Borderlands 4. I know. I need it. Boom, boom. You think Diablo 2? Yeah, it's confusing than that. I've had that same thing happen multiple times. There's also like Division 2. Peak gooning experience. Doesn't that get added later? Isn't the lounge later? TFT update. I know, but like it doesn't peak until the lounge. Okay. Thank you, Vidacious. Can I ride a bike with no handlebars? I can, actually. R Palms, thanks over to the Twitch Prime. Appreciate that. Oh, I'm in my recording scene. That's why I'm not hearing notifications. Thank you, Palms. Appreciate that. But can I skate with no elbows? Apparently not. I can lose my elbows skating. Logan Paul tried to redo this song and got in a bunch of trouble. I don't know about that at all. No. Do you know what affinity skills are in the legendary com? Do you know what affinity skills are in the legendary com? Do you have a link? Can I finish a game? It depends if we consider your mother a game. Got him. Bully. Oh, come on. Two more skills and then we're done. Do 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 do. Ooh, this skill translates to Frost Blade. All right, we're done. Just formatting it so it looks pretty. Bang, ba-dum, ba-dum. Blue tree looks really good. I'm excited to check it out. Can I make little transitions? Transitions. Let's fade. Oh, that's annoying as hell. Wait, no. I don't like that. I don't like that. Slide from left. Let's see. Did I only apply a transition to one slide? Why is it flashing me? That's what I was trying to get rid of, is that like bright flash between slides. Add 3D effects. Dissolve. How is that fast? That looks really slow. Like, in no world is that a fast transition. 0.1 seconds. Apply to all slides. Let's say it. View slideshow. Oh, now it's fast. Okay, yeah, that cleans it up a bit. That cleans it up a bit. Need a star swipe transition effect in here? That'd be pretty great. I'm gonna try to just do this through Twitch because right now when I made it 1440p, our like recording's broken, but a Twitch VOD should actually be pretty good quality now because it's gonna be at 1440p. So I think we should be fine to not technically record this and just grab it from the VOD. Did my Google Chrome just crash? Is there 30 plus slides here? Okay, it's fine. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. View slideshow. Chrome in 2025? What do you mean? Is Chrome like not the most used browser? It's the best one. What else would you use? Yo guys, what is up? Yo guys, what is up? Mox in our Borderlands 4 video, and today we finally have the full AMON skill tree. Now, the past like few days, we've basically been kind of like piecemealing / drip feeding info about AMON from the different streams that we could find. However, there was one streamer that like did play the blue tree, which we hadn't seen, and did like look like they know what they were doing. But their like VODs were deleted. That streamer has now basically posted their videos, so now we have like a lot more AMON info, and we also have them mousing over every single skill, augment, and capstone in all of the trees. So that's what this video is going to be about. I have translated all of these skills and put them basically into a Google slide, and we're going to be going through like each and every one. I'm going to be like reacting to it kind of as we go because I actually haven't read any of these. I just translated them and put them into a slide. So I hope you guys enjoy the breakdown. Let's get right into it. So we're gonna start in red tree. I did kind of talk about the action skill yesterday, but basically the red tree action skill is a burning fist that you get 18 seconds to just pummel enemies with. However, it also gives you burning damage on your guns as well as shield regen, so you can kind of use it as like a melee attack where you can just like go full berserk with it, or you can just still use your guns while getting passive shield regen and burn damage on your weapons. For passive skills, and once again, these are rough translations from Chinese, so not everything is going to be worded like 100% accurately. But starting with driving force, kill skill increases Amon's shield recovery rate and movement speed for a period of time. He gets 3 stacks, and the stack durations last 15 seconds of shield recovery rate and movement speed. Pretty nice there. Then he's got increased burning damage. Chaos gives him melee crit chance. This is 25% melee crit chance as a tier 1. That's really, really nice. Honestly, if you're going to go a melee build on AMON at all, you're probably speccing into that. Ooh, it looks like we missed this one. Does everything else look good? Okay, we've got everything else. We're just missing this one. Let me add that in real quick. Oh, I gotta pull up the Billy thing again. Professional, by the way. What do you mean? Billy. It's all falling apart. We're doomed. Okay. All right, we're good. Next, he's got heavy plate armor, increases Amon's maximum shield capacity and maximum, I'm imagining this is over shield capacity. This is going to be what looks like a pretty like shield focused tree. And once again, anything that says shield does still apply to armor. Armor is a armor shield, so they'd work for both. Next, we've got titanium alloy fingertip, increases Amon's melee damage and skill damage. Our first augment, thermal diffusion. Rocket Fist now has 2 modes, increasing its radius and dealing bonus damage based off of Amon's maximum shield capacity. If you press it, Rocket Fist will deal burning melee attack damage. I'm imagining the just like a translation, and like hold is Rocket Fist will deal freezing melee attack damage, so you can potentially like alternate between fire and freezing. By the way, I'd imagine that this game functions the same way in that Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands functioned, and that enemies that are like frozen will take more melee damage, so you'd probably want to be using like the freezing fist here to freeze them and then get that melee damage increase, so that you're then like benefiting from that with the fire punch. Could be kind of like a cool way of playing that. Next, we've got a punch to the stomach. Combat damage and ordnance have a chance to inflict weakness on an enemy for a period of time. Weakened enemies deal reduced damage and take more damage. Weaknesses are affected by status effect duration and are considered status effects. And it looks like the enemies will deal 40% less damage and take 20% increased damage. Not sure what the melee rate and gun rate. Oh, that's the chance of proccing it. So you have a 10% chance of proccing weakness with guns and 20% chance proccing it with melee. And then those enemies take 20% increased damage and deal 40% less damage. That's actually really nice. I like that skill. We've got Pyroclastic. While on the attack, Amon fully regenerates his health and shields and is surrounded by a Forge Storm, dealing burning status effect damage over time to nearby enemies. Kill skill. Killing an enemy in the Forge Storm will restore...
He is a big, beefy daddy.
Can we turn off blurbs? I mean, okay. Thank you, Fidatius. All right, we're going to do that again. Pyroclastic. While on the attack, Amon fully regenerates his health and shields and is surrounded by a Forge Storm, dealing burning status effect damage over time to nearby enemies. Kill skill. Killing enemies in the Forge Storm will restore the duration of Amon's active skill and increase the damage of the Forge Storm. So this sounds like you basically get a massive burning aura that follows you around. It's a 40-second, or does 40 dot damage per second. Active skill duration recovery is 20%, so if you kill an enemy, it gets 20% of this back. Forge Storm damage multiplier gets 20% per kill. So as you're killing enemies, you're going to be getting more damage, but also getting the upkeep of this even longer. Master the Storm increases Amon's status effect damage and duration. Decent there. That would affect the like weakness procs, by the way, because the weakness is affected by status effect things. Steel Forging. After Amon activates the Forging skill, he'll temporarily be immune to all damage. I'm not sure if the like Forging skill is a global term for both the like Fire Punch and the Hammer Slam, or if it's like one or the other, but you get 6 seconds of complete damage immunity. That's very nice. This could be really powerful with a ton of cooldown. Like, obviously, you're at default cooldowns of like 50 seconds and I think like 85 seconds. But if you get it down to like a 10-second cooldown and you can use it every 10 seconds and you're after 6 seconds or 6 seconds after using it, you're immune to all damage, you become very, very, very tanky. Bullet Storm. When Amon applies a status effect, his gun damage is increased for a period of time. pretty standard there. Impulse. When Amon causes gun damage, his active skill cooldown rate is increased for a period of time. That's also pretty standard. Get some more cooldown. Cooldown is probably going to be really important if you want to play this tree. Strongest defense. Amon gains a super shield when dealing melee damage. Super shield is probably just overshield. So it sounds like, you know, as long as you're punching, you're going to be dealing, you're going to be getting overshield back, which is very interesting when you pair it with this thermal diffusion. Was this it? Yeah, this is based off of your shield capacity. And if you have overshield, you can't take shield damage. So this paired with this skill would probably be quite strong. Then we get to the right side of the tree. Dragon's Breath. When Amon activates his cannon, his next gun bullet is converted to incendiary damage, staggering enemies damage and increasing damage dealt. Boss enemies cannot be staggered. When he activates his cannon, his next gun bullet is converted to incendiary. I'm imagining cannon might be referencing the hammer here. To be honest, I'm not sure exactly what that's referencing, as in cannon. I don't think it's ordnance. We've got another augment, Explosive Fist of Rage. When launching a fierce attack, the effect rate of Amon's status is increased. Pressing F will fire a concentrated wave of lightning, dealing electric melee damage to enemies it passes through. That sounds awesome. Looks like your fist is going to be sending out lightning waves. Then we've got Catastrophe. I don't know why that was so hard for me to pronounce. When Amon applies electric shock to the enemy, its critical hit rate is increased for a period of time. When Amon applies burn to an enemy, its critical damage is increased. So if you're applying shock damage, you get crit rate. If you're applying burn damage, you get critical hit damage. Very nice. Explosive Aegis. According to Amon's shield value, his status effect damage and artillery or ordnance damage are increased. The fuller his shield, the stronger the effect. Once again, more reasons to stack up shields. You get more status effect damage and more ordnance damage based off of your shield. Rock Fist. When Amon causes melee damage, a certain percentage of the cooldown time of the forging skill is restored. Melee attacks will double this effect. So every melee attack, you get a flat percentage of your cooldown back. That is insane. That's really nice. You're going to be getting 10% of your cooldown back at max ranks per melee attack. That's really, really, really crazy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about having, like, cooldown being important. That seems like a no-brainer there. Amon deals increased melee damage to enemies with less than 50% total health. Then we've got Storm Guillotine. Scorching Smash is now Storm Guillotine. I'm imagining Scorching Smash is the hammer. Hold F to swing your giant forged sword, sending a wave of forged energy that deals electric melee damage to all enemies it passes through. Each time you hit an enemy, you recover the active skill cooldown, active skill duration, and artillery cooldown, or ordnance cooldown. So you slam your sword, and then you get a bunch of duration restored. So if you're using your burning fist while you're doing your sword, which we saw that you can like activate the fist and do the slam at the same time. So you'd do that and you'd get duration back per enemy hit. And you'd also get cooldown recovery. So basically, if you're using it while your action skill is active, you keep it up. If you're using it when your action skill isn't active, you'd get it back. And then you also get ordnance stuff. But once again, note, like, this is on a 90-second cooldown. So cooldown is going to be very, very important for Amon. And then we've got Electronic Flame. When Amon burns an enemy, he also electrocutes them. When Amon electrocuted an enemy, he also burns them. That's a really nice 1-out-of-1 capstone. Because there's so many burn and electric synergies here, but now you could basically just use one gun. Like, you don't need to be having multiple sources. You could just, like, fully spec into fire or fully spec into electric, and you're covered. That is a sick 1-out-of-1 point. Then we get to this middle tree, Burn the Barrier. The higher Amon's shield value is, the higher his fire rate and status effect rate will be. Awesome. Force of Nature. When launching a fierce attack, causing gun damage to the enemy will cause it to be in a state of explosion for a period of time. When it dies or is damaged by the blacksmith skill, it will detonate, causing burning damage to nearby enemies. Melee attacks damage can also be detonated, but the damage it causes is reduced. So this sounds like more leaning into the detonation side, but it also allows, because we saw, like, for example, with like the axes, the thrown action skill could leave a detonation charge, but the like sub action skill could not. This will not only give you more detonations, but it'll allow you for your melees to be detonated, which seems pretty cool. And it looks like also after, like for a certain period of time after you do your attack, gun damage will also. Oh, that's what this is doing. After you use your action skill for a certain amount of time, your gun damage will make enemies detonatable. So you could proc a ton of detonations on enemies, especially if you've got like a beam weapon or like a chaining weapon. Into battle, Amon's damage and damage reduction will increase based on the distance from the enemy. So kind of like Amara's personal space, you get increased damage when you're close to enemies, but you also get damage reduction. Awesome skill. Crippling blow. Okay, so it seems like this middle tree is like Amon's more gun-focused side. Gun critical hits have a chance to inflict weakness on enemies for a period of time. Weakened enemies deal reduced damage and take more damage. Interesting. This is basically his weakness skill from before, no? Combat damage and artillery damage. So this has a gun proc rate, and then this also has a gun proc rate. That might just be a translation thing. This is specifically for gun critical hits. And gun critical hits would have a higher chance to proc this weakness than a normal gunshot would, because this is 8% per point. Okay. So guns have at highest, I think that was potentially 10%. So gun critical hits would have a higher chance to proc that weakness debuff. When Amon uses melee attacks to cause damage, some of his current gun's ammunition will be replenished. Nice. I don't love that skill. Kill skill increases Amon's melee damage and maximum shield capacity for a period of time. You get melee stacking damage and shield capacity. The capstone here is Scorching Smash's radius is increased and stores damage after a delay. Fire breaks out at the feet of up to 3 enemies. The pyre deals additional burning melee damage based on the damage stored by Scorching Smash, splitting the damage among remaining enemies. Interesting. So you get a 33% radius boost, and you're storing damage. And all of that damage that you store, that you're stacking up, is then going to explode at the feet of nearby enemies. So you're getting like fire explosions that are going to seek out enemies based off of the damage that you're dealing. That seems very cool. Deadly Flare. When Amon kills a weakened enemy, the enemy will explode, inflicting burning to nearby enemies. That's very cool. It has a cooldown, which is a bit weird. I was wondering like what the big payoff for using weakened is, but it sounds like this is potentially the big payout. Is any time that an enemy dies that's weakened, they explode. However, it looks like there's a cooldown on this, which means like, you know, you couldn't potentially, maybe it goes away with 3 points, but like, you know, the goal of this would be to have like a Krieg blood explosion where an enemy that's weakened explodes, that triggers another enemy, that triggers another enemy. But it looks like that chaining, if that cooldown stays in place, that chaining effect will not happen. Next we get Bloodthirsty. This is the far left side tree. When Amon's shield is broken, he gains Bloodlust for a period of time, increasing his reload speed and lifesteal. Solid. Fallen Frost. Press F immediately after launching Rocket Fist, and Amon will use a follow-up attack, causing a large area of freezing melee attack damage in front of Amon. Non-boss enemies with less than 25% total health will be killed immediately. Dang, you've got a 25% health execute on this and a follow-up freeze punch. That's really cool. I like that. When Amon activates the forging skill, he will enter a frenzy state for a period of time, gaining immunity to slows, and his gun damage and melee damage will gain added freezing damage. So gun and melee gets bonus frost damage. The connected skill to this is kill skill. When Amon kills an enemy while in a frenzy, the duration of the frenzy will be partially restored and the bonus frost damage will be increased. Up to 200% bonus frost damage at 0 out of 3? Does this go to plus 600% bonus frost damage? That seems kind of nuts. When Amon's shield is broken, it will restore part of the shield and detonate, dealing cryo damage and freeze damage. Increases Amon's max health capacity. The higher his health, the more melee damage he causes. Interesting. He's got a bunch of like shield things, but this seems... He's got some synergies with shields being broken here. Okay, that's probably why it specs into health. Our capstone here is Death Touch. When AMON causes melee damage, there's a chance to activate a kill skill. Cool. So you proc kill skills on melees. And then the, like, capstone, Scorching Smash is now Frost Blade. Hold F to swing a massive forged axe, sending a wave of forging that deals icy melee damage and freezes enemies it passes through. Enemies killed by Frost Blade will explode, dealing frost damage. That's awesome. Once again, anything that is frozen should take increased melee damage. So very cool that all of these things also deal melee damage and ice damage. There's going to be some really strong synergies there. W presentation. Cryo shield stack puncher. Yup. That could have been his entire kit and he would have been sick. What, the bonus damage? What skill looked the coolest to y'all in that? A lot of them seem very cool. He's got I'm gonna be honest, so far of the Vault Hunters we've gotten that we've seen, he's got the most like badassness. You know, they always talk about the Vault Hunters being badasses. This guy is like the badass. The middle capstone. Oh, the burning damage that explodes under enemies' feet from stored damage. Yeah, that seems pretty sick. That seems pretty sick. Some of these skills are like not super great, but some of them seem freaking insane. Did you just get massive swords, fire explosions everywhere? The giant frost sword. Giant frost sword sounds very cool. All right, let's look at Blue Tree now. We're gonna be using Mr. Ryan's video. Or Brian, sorry. Augments are only for the action skill in the tree that they are for. You can't use an augment with a different action skill or a capstone with a different action skill. It has to be in the same tree. Is this playing now? Okay, it is. Cool. Full screenshots are in the G drive I sent you. Ooh. Full screenshots are in the G drive. Wait, I'm not seeing it. This one? You resent? Oh, huge. W. Wait, Ryan, do you have 2 YouTube channels? Are you Brian and Ryan? I'm confused. Are you both? Yes. W. CZ, could you drop a shout out for Mr. Ryan here, who just sent us pictures of all of the things? We don't have to go do it. The B is silent. Let me download this entire thing. Are there more Vault Hunters with Ice/Frost skills? Well, we haven't seen Harlow yet. Rafa had, I think, some ice stuff. Vex, not really. Ba-ba-bum. Now I gotta put them in order. Yeah, I might do that. Did you have some cryo stuff? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I don't know if that's gonna work like that. Scar tissue. Turn on music real quick. Scar tissue. Let me see. I can like edit around it. But let me see. Why won't it let me move them? All these pics are just blue tree. Yeah, this is just blue tree. I was gonna organize them, but it doesn't seem like it'll let me. I wonder if I can organize or sort by. They are sorted by date modified. Alphabetical ordering that wouldn't mean anything. Oh, they do look like they're getting sorted by name. Because it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Well, but it's not reordering. Date modified. Just edit the name and put a 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that could work. Downloaded all of them at the same time. Let me see. Does this work? Okay, they're ordered here. If I do date modified by this, I wonder if if I sort them now and then download it. If that'll change the ordering that they're downloaded in. No, it didn't. Just look at them there. Yeah, I can. The only thing is I don't think I can zoom. I can... Oh, I can zoom. Well, I can look at them like this. Oh, huge. Did that save? As long as I don't exit out, it saves. All right. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Now for Blue Tree, and real quick before we dive in, huge shout out to Brian Central or Ryan Central. He's got both channels. He DM'd me a link where he had already translated all of the trees. So I'm going to be using his drive link that he sent me. So huge shout out to him. I will have a link down to his channel in the description. So starting out, we've got Nature's Wrath. Improves AMON status effect application rate and freezing efficiency. When it activates an active skill, this effect is doubled. So you've got freeze status effect and freeze efficiency. Scorched Earth Kairos increases AMON's gun damage and magazine capacity. Real Excitement, AMON gains health restoration. Each time AMON takes or absorbs non-status effect damage, he gains a layer of resoluteness for a period of time, increasing this effect. So you're getting stacking health regen on that. Scar Tissue increases Amon's max health capacity and repair kit healing amount. Nice stuff. Born to Fight. The higher Amon's health is, the more gun damage he gains. When Amon is at maximum health, this effect is doubled. Nice. It was 30% gun damage. Our first augment, Freezing Beat. When launching the whip, Amon will taunt the enemy and send out a freezing pulse every second, causing freezing damage to the enemy and restoring the health of allies. We actually have like a co-op skill. While aiming, Amon's movement speed is reduced, but Amon's guns will gain bonus frost damage, and each shot will consume vengeance. Interesting. So whenever you launch your whip, you taunt enemies and get a freezing pulse every second around you. And that pulse will freeze enemies and heal your allies. And then while you're aiming, you're dealing bonus frost damage with your guns. And I'm imagining that it also heals Amon as well. Comet Tail. When Amon causes ordnance damage, there is a chance that the frozen status effect will be applied, causing continuous freezing damage for a period of time. We looked at this in like the last video. Basically gives Amon's ordnance a chance to freeze on anything. So if you were using like a big fire ordnance LMG, you're going to be freezing with that as well. Seems awesome. Then we've got Crackling Chill. Forged waves now consume more Vengeful Rage and explode on impact, dealing area of effect freezing cannon damage. If the Forged Waves passes through the firewall, it will further increase the blast radius. The Blue Tree's like sub-action skill, by the way, is the ability to place a firewall. So you've got the like shield, the Frost Whip, and then the firewall that prevents damage from incoming and then increases your damage that is outgoing. That is awesome. Eternal increases Amon's action skill duration and gun swap speed. Hail of Bullets. Amon's bullets have a chance to ricochet as elemental echoes, causing frost damage. With a 15% chance, then they deal 50% of the damage dealt. Amon's bullets have a chance to ricochet as elemental echoes. That sounds awesome. Wow, okay, so Rava, not the only like ricochet skill. Mechanic kill skill. Amon restores a certain percentage of his ordnance cooldown time on a kill skill. That seems pretty nice. Increases frost damage caused by Amon. Just 25% more freeze damage or cold damage. Warrior's Cup. If Amon uses a repair kit when launching an active skill, the duration of the active skill can be partially restored. So if you use your repair kit, you get your action skill duration back. That is very nice. Okay, let's zoom in on all of these. Moxie music. It's not going to good call, but it's not going to the VOD, so we should be good on that. We should have read through what his action skill does to start, but I kind of already did that in another video. Shut up, Vidacious. Sort of repair med kit. It's like a new item slot. All characters get a repair kit. Repair kits heal you by default, but they can also give you movement speed. They can give you lifesteal. They give you a bunch of like different additional effects. All right, now starting in the left tree, increases Amon's ricochet damage, burn damage, and burn duration. Nice. Oops. Starting in the Amon's left tree, we've got increases Amon's ricochet damage, and burn duration. Nice, more like ricochet stuff. Fiery Rebuke. Consume all Vengeful Rage and hurl your forged shield at the target enemy, dealing incendiary cannon damage that ricochets on impact. Fiery Rebuke ricochets additional times based on Vengeful Rage spent. When throwing a forged shield, damage absorption is disabled until it returns, and you get +1 bounce for every 20% of your vengeance consumed. This is the like Athena shield throw. So hopefully there's some really cool like. Oh, I guess, you know, that ricochet damage probably applies to the shield, and the shield is a fire shield. So if you want to buff up the shield, this skill would probably do all of that. Burning with Anger, killing skill, using burning damage to kill an enemy, and you'll gain a layer of fire adaptability for a period of time. The stacking of fire adaptability will increase your reload speed and active skill cooldown rate. So if you're killing enemies with the shield, then you're just going to be getting cooldown to throw the shield more. Then we've got World Destroyer. When AMON lands and slams, so like like the default movement ability that you have that you can slam, he consumes all fire compatibility stacks to create a fire fissure in front of him, dealing burning melee damage to all enemies hit. Disco Inferno. When AMON applies incineration to an enemy, its rate of fire will be increased for a period of time. So if you are dealing burn damage, you get stacking fire rate. Ballistic Barrier. AMON gains a overshield when dealing ordnance damage. Oh, damn. That's kind of nuts. So if you're using like a fast-firing ordnance LMG, every shot would be giving you overshield. It could potentially make you basically unkillable if you've got enough fire, right? That's pretty nuts. Ring of Frostfire. The firewall is now circular, dealing burning status effect damage to all enemies within it and causing freezing damage to enemies entering or leaving. Finally, projectiles that pass through the wall of fire gain further damage and projectile velocity boosts. Interesting. So this turns your like kind of default sub-action skill that is more defense-focused into something that you could potentially use as more offensive-focused. It's going to deal more burn damage, and your projectile is going to get 100% projectile speed passing through it. And then we've got Cooling Cloak. Kill skill restores some of World Breaker's cooldown. That is attached to this skill here, World Destroyer, which has a default time of 60 seconds. So you can't just like continuously slam the ground and create these fire fissures. No, you can't use Ordnance and fight for your life. Next, we've got the Middle Tree Ice Rage. Killing skill. Using freezing damage when you kill an enemy, you'll gain a layer of freezing adaptability for a period of time. The stacking of freezing adaptability will increase the damage of your gun. So if you're killing enemies with cryo, you're going to get more gun damage. Eternal Winter. Forge waves now partially restore the duration of active skills and firewall when damaging an enemy and can be activated up to 3 times in a row. The third time it's activated, it will fire a giant forge wave that deals higher damage and does not consume vengeance. So your like whip things that are going to be going out are now going to continue to keep up your active skills. And also you can use it more often and create like a giant wave of it. Seems pretty cool. Northwind. Amon's gun critical hits have a chance to apply additional slowness to the enemies. The same effect as cryo when freezing damage. So not only are you going to be slowing them with chill, but you're also going to be slowing them with Northwind. Ice Age. Amon deals increased damage to frost enemies and bosses. I'm imagining this is like increased damage to chilled enemies or frozen enemies. Primal Surge. When Amon applies a status effect to an enemy, there's a chance to restore some of his shields and ammo. Dang. That's really cool. I like that. This Winter Kiss is connected to our Ice Rage, which was giving us these like freezing layers. Winter Kiss, when Amon causes ordnance damage, it will consume the corresponding number of frozen adaptability stacking layers according to the number of nearby enemies, generating tracking echoes and causes range frenzy damage. So basically, what I'm getting from this is whenever you do ordnance damage, you are going to be sending out freezing orbs that seek out enemies and deal a percentage of the damage that you've dealt with your ordnance. Which is kind of insane, because we just mentioned a skill that would make you borderline unkillable as long as you're dealing ordnance damage in the other tree. That seems like a strong synergy. And then Impact Debris gives your elemental echoes a chance to ricochet, which then you could then buff in the left tree with the elemental ricochets. That's really cool. I'm already starting to see like a ordnance build that you could basically try to get a bunch of ordnance cooldown, which Amon has in his trees, where you're constantly sending out like an LMG that's going to be freezing and burning and sending out these elemental echoes that are going to be ricocheting and dealing a bunch of damage. That seems very, very cool. And like he's got a bunch of things where your ordnance restores your shield and you get a bunch more damage while your shield is up. That could be really cool. This capstone, Glacial Mania. Firewall is now Ice Frenzy. Hold F to swing your Forged Steel Whip, hitting nearby enemies twice and dealing frost damage, then slamming the ground, creating a frost rift that deals frost damage and leaves behind a source of frost for a while. So it converts your Firewall sub-action skill into an ice thing, which is this. So instead of getting the Firewall, I think it gets entirely replaced by this, which is like a secondary attack with the whip, which is going to do all of this crazy frost slamming. So you're kind of exchanging that like defensive Firewall for a more offensive fire or ice whip. That sounds really cool. And then in the right tree, we've got Blackout. Ordnance damage has a chance to critically strike, which will shock enemies. So you get ordnance crit rate on any part of the body, and if you crit, you shock with them. Dude, this seems like an insane ordnance tree if you wanted to go that route. Forged Waves is now Storm Lance. Press F to throw a spear, dealing shock damage on impact, consuming damage from the Vengeful Rage boost. Enemies damaged by the spear are poised for a period of time and will detonate when damaged by the Forged skill, dealing shock damage to the target but not to nearby enemies. People were wondering how AMON gets a spear. This is his like spear skill. It converts your action skill into a spear, which is sick. And I imagine this tree is going to be a lot more lightning or thunder focused. Thunder's Fury, kill skill. When you kill an enemy with electric damage, you gain a layer of electric suitability. For a period of time, the stacking electric suitability will increase the crit damage. I wonder if you could have all of these layers active at the same time. I'd imagine you could, because if you could be dealing fire, cryo, and lightning damage all at the same time, you could potentially get all of these like adaptability stacks all gaining you massive stacking bonuses. That seems really, really cool. I'm assuming you could have them all up at the same time. Then we've got Thump Anvil. When AMON causes active skill damage, he consumes one layer of electric adaptability and generates a Forged Thunderbolt to attack the enemy. Holy! Dude, like, so you could have an ordnance thing that you're using that could potentially be sending out cryo orbs that are ricocheting and freezing enemies. And if you get a way to like deal multiple elements at the same time, not only could you be getting like ice things coming out, but you could get thunderbolts coming down from the sky and striking enemies. This sounds nuts, dude. Kill skill, AMON recovers a certain percentage of the cooldown of his foraging skill. Whenever you kill enemies, you get a big stack of cooldown, 15% cooldown on kill. AMON's hipfire will increase his rate of fire, but reduce his gun control. When aiming, increases AMON's gun damage and gun handling. Pretty standard skill there. We've got ultra high voltage elemental thunderbolts now stagger enemies and consume an additional stack of shock ability to multiply the damage done. Boss enemies, it's a 200% damage multiplier. Dude, what? This tree is insane. Ultimate talent. Firewall is now Wrath of Heaven. Press F to summon a giant forged sword and attack the target enemy, causing shock damage. Storm Strike is a guaranteed to crit. Holy. Okay. Well, that is the blue tree. Dude, what the fuck? This sounds insane. Actually sounds insane. All right. Let's look at Green Tree. This is gonna be like an hour-long video, dude. Do do do. All right. Let's go over this green tree. don't nerf these skills. These skills are sounding pretty spicy, man. Sounding pretty spicy. One second. We're gonna probably want to record the action skills. We'll do that for the blue tree as well. Which tree is more melee? So far, the green. Wow. Red tree is the most melee focused. Now let's talk about green tree. Quick refresher. His action skill, Harsh Furnace. I don't know if that's actually called, but basically allows you to summon a Flame Axe and a Frost Axe, and then you get to pick which one you want to throw. When you hit an enemy with these, they're going to be basically get procced with a detonation charge, and when they die, they explode, causing damage to nearby enemies. His sub-action skill for this does a twirl throw of a dual hammer that sends out cryo, and then it returns as fire. And then when that ends, it's going to summon 2 axe drones that will go and wail on nearby enemies. For his skills, we've got Cast Iron, improves Amon's forging skill, cooling rate, and gun control. Before the Storm, Kill skill, increases the elemental damage caused by Amon for a period of time. Nice stacking elemental damage increases. That'd be good on any of these builds. Increases Amon's critical hit damage. After dealing melee damage, this effect is doubled for a period of time. Nice, 30% crit damage. Increases Amon's reload speed. This effect is doubled for a period of time after detonations. Cool. Cerebral. While Amon is reloading, his gun gains bonus electric damage for a period of time. I think that's got to be a translation, because you'd want the bonus damage after reloading. I'm assuming it's just after reloading you get extra damage. Endless War. Each layer of ready to fire increases the firearm damage taken by the ready enemy. If Amon detonates an enemy in preparation, a new forged axe will be created, which automatically seeks out nearby enemies. This is the one that we saw before, where you get 15% increased firearm damage per stack of ready to fire, which seems very, very nice. And you get stacking new forged axes. Tempering Fire. Oh, what is this? Forge drone skill. When Amon activates the forging skill, it'll spawn a tomahawk forging drone that will attack nearby enemies for a period of time, causing burning damage. If the tempering pyre is already active, activate the forging skill will restore the duration of all active forging drones. So this gives you an additional drone in addition to your 2, and then if you activate this while your other drones are up, you're going to restore their duration so that they can stay up longer. Axe and Stone. After Amon damages an enemy with his forged axe, his movement speed will increase for a period of time, and he can use melee attacks to detonate enemies in preparation. Detonating the flame axe will restore active skill cooldown. Detonating the frozen axe will restore the cannon's cooldown. So this allows you to detonate enemies with your melee attacks. Normally, to detonate an enemy, you need to kill them. It's obviously a lot easier to detonate them by dealing melee damage than having something die that could give you damage on a boss, for example, besides just having to kill it. If you're throwing axes, you could constantly be detonating them, and you'd also get more cooldown rate so that you could send out more axes to get more detonation stacks on enemies. Destroy the bionic body, increases Amon's forging skill damage and detonation damage. Pretty standard there. Bellows. When Amon activates the forging skill, his gun damage will be increased for a period of time. Nice, good chunk of gun damage. Twin Rages. Tempering Pyre now spawns an additional Axesmith drone that deals frost melee damage. Forging drones from the refractory have reduced duration. Duration reduced, 75% initial duration. So these 2 together would bring you from 2 total melee drones to 4 drones, but they would be up for less often. But obviously, with the initial thing here, if Tempering Pyre is already active. When you activate your Forge skill, you'll fully restore the duration of all active forging drones. So there's a way, even if you're losing duration to get more drones, you could potentially keep them up more often and have like 4 drones all the time. Vital Organs, kill skill. AMON gains gun critical rate for a period of time. Nice. So after you kill an enemy, you can get stacking gun rate, and this looks like it would go up to 10% gun critical rate, but it has 3 layers of it, so you'd get up to 30% gun critical hit rate from just this skill alone. That's actually pretty nuts. Harad's Call increases Amon's electric damage. Just making sure all of these are zoomed in before we bounce through them. Cool. In love with the red tree? The red tree looks insane. So far, ooh, I don't know which I like more, red tree or blue tree. We haven't really read through the bottom of green tree yet. No, you can put your points into all 3 trees. All right, now for green trees on right side, we've got Raging Fire. Active skill damage has a chance to critically hit and burn enemies. Nice. Burning Cold Frost axes apply freeze on impact. Flaming Axe will now pierce through enemies. Oh, interesting. So we were watching gameplay yesterday where the Frost Axe was freezing literally everything. And I kind of assumed it was because of, it just like, that's how it inherently worked. But the streamer that was playing was spec'd into this as their augment. So I guess this is what makes the axes guaranteed freeze. I did see that this doesn't guarantee freeze bosses, though. It procs chill on them, but doesn't, like, insta-freeze bosses. Permafrost. When Amon freezes an enemy, a freezing hazard source will be generated under the enemy's feet, causing freezing damage for a period of time. This is like a puddle. Vex has the same kind of skill. So if you freeze an enemy, you'd create a like elemental frozen puddle that could deal damage over time. These kind of skills really interest me because I'm imagining that you could potentially stack them under enemies and get a bunch of damage from them. And it scales off of the damage dealt. So could be quite powerful. Wild Heart increases Amon status effect damage and hazard source damage, so more damage for that like ground effect. When using firearms to cause burning damage, the freezing damage is increased for a period of time. When using firearms to cause freezing damage, you're burning damage. So rotating between cold and fire damage, very cool. Reactive Armor, detonating restores some of Amon's shields and cannon cooldown. So artillery or ordnance cooldown and shield regen whenever you detonate. The capstone here is when Amon causes forging damage, he'll generate drone singularities. Cool. So whenever you do your like axes, I guess you'd get a singularity on all of your different drones that are out. And then Flaming Boomerang. The double blade now deals burning melee damage from 2 directions with a larger radius and leaves a trail of fire while flying close to the ground, dealing burning damage over time. Causing an explosion or damaging an enemy with a fire boomerang will restore the cooldown of blacksmithing. So the double blade, I'm imagining, is the like sub-action skill that throws out the swirling double blade, which now is going to be hitting in a larger radius and leaves fire, like hazards, a fire trail, which I'm imagining would get buffed by like, you know, this Wild Heart increases status effect damage and hazard source damage. So you just get more hazards, and then you'd have cryo hazards and burning hazards on the ground whenever you're throwing that out. Tempered Lightning. Now we're into the middle tree. Forging Drone skill. When Amon activates the active skill, it will spawn a sword forging drone, which will attack nearby enemies for a period of time, causing electric shock melee damage. If Tempered Lightning is active, activating the active skill will restore a portion of the duration of all forging drones. So this is just more drone stacking. Blade Storm. Amon will now be equipped with a forged sword with a choice of fire or electricity effects. When enabled, all charges will be consumed to fire the forged sword barrage. Enemies damaged by the forged sword will be put into a ready state for a period of time. When they die or are damaged by a forging skill, they will detonate and cause damage to the target, but will not harm nearby enemies. Interesting. Press to fire a barrage of flaming swords, dealing burning melee damage. Press to fire a barrage of electric swords, dealing electric melee damage. Interesting. So you're changing your axes into a sword barrage instead of like throwing an axe. Blast Furnace. When Amon or his forged drones critically strike an enemy or create a detonation, his damage is increased for a period of time. Detonations grant multiple stacks. So whenever you critically strike an enemy, you get stacking damage, but a detonation gives you more stacks of that damage. Amon gains this overshield when dealing active skill damage. Very nice there. Amon's gun bullets have a chance to generate elemental thunderbolts when they critically strike, causing electric shock damage. Ooh, I like that. 25% spawn rate to trigger elemental thunderbolts that deal 30% of your damage dealt. But I would imagine that goes up. Something scales with this. It could be 150% of your damage dealt as elemental thunder damage. It does look like it has an 8-second cooldown, so I don't think you could take like something super fast firing and just start spawning thunderbolts everywhere. Gradually rise, increases the attack speed and movement speed of the forged drones. Nice. And then sharpen the tip. Forging drones have a chance to critically strike. When the forged drones critically strike, part of Amon's active skills will be restored. Very cool. It sounds like this skill tree kind of has, this like drone tech fantasy where you're going to be having potentially like 5 to 6 drones up at a time, all just wailing on enemies and like proccing detonations and giving you cooldown and being able to crit. Storm surges. Double Edge is now a Storm Surge. Hold F to throw a pair of twin forged blades that deal area of effect electric melee damage on impact. Storm Surge creates a forging storm for a period of time, dealing electric status effect damage. So instead of the like fire ice axe throw, it becomes electric. Noise increases the damage and detonation radius of Amon's ordnance. Ooh. Detonation radius and damage. Okay, cool. Hammering Moment. Amon will now be equipped with a forged hammer with a choice of frost or shock. Enemies damaged by the hammer will be in a ready state. When they die or are damaged by the forging skill, they explode, causing damage to nearby enemies. So you're replacing your axes with hammers, which is kind of interesting because the other action skill has like a hammer. I'd imagine they're still like throwing hammers though, but now you're changing and adding shock to it. Tempering Ice. Forged drone skill. When Amon activates his ordnance, he will spawn hammer forged drones that attack nearby enemies for a period of time, dealing freezing melee damage. Cool. Another way to proc even more drones. Masterpiece increases the damage and duration of forged drones. Definitely would want that if you're going for a full drone build. Endless bombing. When using a grenade, there's a chance that it'll be returned automatically. Heavy weapons have a chance to return 1 ammunition when they damage an enemy. Cool. Amon so far seems to have the most ordnance synergies. I think every one of his action skills has had some strong ordnance synergy. When dealing ordnance damage, its rate of fire is increased for a period of time. Nice. Hammer of Destiny. Hammer forged drones can now deal ordnance damage in addition to their original damage types and have a chance to trigger an explosion when damaging an enemy, causing ranged freezing damage. Whoa. Hammer forged drones. That could be interesting. I wonder if that would work with some of his other things in his other trees where these drones, you could have these ordnance drones dealing like freezing ordnance damage, but they could also be proccing like thunderstorms and like cryo bolts from the blue tree because now they're dealing ordnance damage. Could be potentially interesting. I'd have to look into that a little bit more. And then Snow Hammered. Hold F to throw your twin forged hammers, dealing freezing melee damage to nearby enemies and on impact and ricocheting up to 3 times between nearby enemies. If no ricocheted target is found, the hammers deal additional damage before self-destructing. Each time a detonation is triggered, an additional ricochet occurs. So now you're like dual throw. sends out frozen hammers that not only will ricochet, but if they don't have a target to ricochet, they're going to hit the single target additional times. Seems pretty cool. Guys, that is going to do it for the full AMON skill tree breakdown. I am incredibly impressed with this guy. Gonna be honest, I don't think the green tree interests me as much as the blue and red tree, but the blue and red tree seems absolutely insane. We've seen some of the potentially strongest skills on him. I mean, all of the Vault Hunters are looking crazy. But those skills, like, what was it, like stacking 600% bonus frost damage? And basically becoming invincible while being an elemental storm. Lots of really, really cool synergies on AMON. I hope you guys enjoyed the full skill tree breakdown. Once again, huge thanks to Brian Central for providing me with this Google Drive link with all of the images so I didn't have to translate everything. I will catch y'all in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace. Ugh. Destiny 2 team responded to your message? Destiny responded to my tweet? Oh, fuck. Oh my god, Destiny responded to my tweet. Oh, Lord. I tweeted out, I've been playing Destiny 2 for the first time in forever, and I'm having fun, but oh boy, is the new/returning player experience rough. One of my biggest pain points is the lack of description when it comes to making build choices. There seems to be 90 damage perks every gun can roll that all just say increase damage, which makes making informed build decisions nearly impossible, because half of them also have a damage on Tuesday condition. Then there's armor perks, which are all like give a moderate amount of recharge or a moderate amount of cooldown. Why is there no advanced tooltips? I know there are external sites that can tell me what is the best role or the best mod, but that doesn't improve the new player experience. It just adds more time spent out of game and slows down progression because of constantly having to look things up. And Destiny replied, team's working on this. We have a bit of UI going in tomorrow to help with build crafting, but there'll be areas that can still be hard to understand. Hope to have more details in the future. That's very cool. W. When's Maxwell updating its planner? We're starting to work on it today. When it'll be finished, I don't know. Did it sound like he said Brian? He's both, Birdman. He's got a channel called Brian Central and a channel called Ryan Central. I fixed Destiny. Incoming YouTube video. Thoughts on Amon? He seems insane. All right. I'm gonna start editing this. You think Amon's green tree seems the most insane? Really? I mean, to me right now, the green tree very much relies on how much damage those drones are dealing, because that seems like the most interesting thing is full specking into drones, but I don't know how much damage they're going to be dealing. In the gameplay that we saw, they're pretty unimpactful. Today we finally have video aim. I think Amon's green tree. All right, publishing that. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab. I haven't had food yet today, and it's 3 o'clock. Give me 1 second. I got some turkey in the fridge. I'm back. We got the lunch of champions. Slices of tomato, turkey, cottage cheese. Bum 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 bum. Turkey acquired. Yup, yup, yup. We do need to get these into a planner ASAP. Dude, do you think... Here, we're doing a poll. I'm gonna put up a poll. Which tree do you like the most? Let's see. Green, red, blue. They all seem kind of insane. Red's the most, like, in your face, creating swords, fire explosions, like, hyper aggressive. Blue is surprisingly, like, ricochet focused and summoning a bunch of, like, elemental storm effects. And then green seems the most, like, drone focused. You know, a bunch of green haters. Well, I think my only issue with green tree right now is, like, blue tree turns it into a spear, and you can get a sword. Red tree turns it into a massive axe, or like a massive sword, or all these different things. Green tree gives you hammers, but it would have been cool if there was like a unique weapon to green tree, if that makes sense. Like, it seems like all of the other trees have like a unique transformation that transforms them into something that like the other trees don't have. Like a great sword. I guess technically blue and red both transform the thing into a great sword. Move that Zeus sword. Hammers dealing ordnance damage is insanity. But it's just that one hammer, CZ. I don't think... I read that is only the hammer drone that was summoned from that skill, not all of the drones. Yeah, Maxwell, we'll be updating the planner. Show the skill. If it's all of the drones dealing ordnance damage and proccing ordnance effects, and you can have 6 of them up, that is insanity. But I think it's just that one drone. This is hammer forged drones now deal artillery damage, right? When AMON activates his artillery, he'll spawn a hammer forged drone. So when you activate your artillery, you specifically get a hammer forged drone on a 30-second cooldown. And then this applies to all drones. All drones get damage and duration. And then this says hammer forged drones now deal artillery damage. Like, this activating off artillery is kind of insane because, like, throwing knife is artillery. You get multiple charges of them. We just saw a throwing knife with 7 charges. You could theoretically throw 7 throwing knives and get 7 hammer forged drones. And then it wouldn't matter, but there's a 30-second cooldown on it. So I don't know if that'll be a viable strat. Cooldown probably increase with skill point. Potentially. Not having proper translations. Agreed. If this cooldown goes down a ton, Like, if it goes down 5 seconds per point, like, yeah, it would be insane. Does every character have a companion of some sort? I guess so, yeah. If Harlow will have a melee build, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if Harlow has melee stuff because Vex has melee stuff, Rafa has melee stuff, and AMON has melee stuff. I'd be very surprised. Even if it's like a 12-second cooldown, you could potentially build up a ton of these. You know what I mean? Increase the damage and duration. They're at 25. That's 25% increase the duration off of, I guess, 0 to 5 is 25 seconds. Damn, I'm hungry. More builds, true. Zero, thanks so much for the sub. Sorry, I was in my recording scene. And Super Solid Ray, thanks so much for the 3 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just finished downloading, yeah. It did. Harlow's gadgets. I really hope, I've said this a few times, but I really hope Harlow looks insane. Because if she doesn't look insane, I'm gonna have a hard choice to make. When no rest for the wicked. I didn't love that game, BJ. We played through it. We beat the whole thing. Last update changed the game. I have not played the last update. I only played it on launch. All right. Sorry, this is the not fun part. Yo guys, I'm into a slide. So I hope you guys enjoy the breakdown. Let's get right into it. So we're gonna start. Chaos gives him a melee crit chance. This AMON at all, you're probably spiking into that. He's got heavy plate armor. Is a work for both. Next, we've got our first augment, thermal. And it looks like the enemies will deal 40% less damage and take
Feed daddy.
skill kill. We've got pyroclastic, and deal 40% less damage. That's actually really nice. I like that skill. Thank you, Fidacious, for this. Pyroclastic. Forge Storm. So this sounds like you basically Master the Storm, increases AMON status. Decent there. That would affect the like weakness procs, by the way, because strong. Then we get to the right side of the tree. Activates his cannon. His next gun bullet is. I'm imagining cannon might be referencing the hammer here. Catastrophe. Going to be sending out lightning. I don't know why I couldn't pronounce this. Catastrophe. Catastrophe. Looks like your fist is going to be sending out lightning waves. I don't know why that was so hard for me to pronounce. When AMON applies electric shock to the enemy, it's critical. Looks like your fist is going to be sending out lightning waves. When AMON applies electric shock to the enemy, its critical hit rate is increased for... Fist is going to be sending out lightning waves. I don't know why that was so hard. Going to be sending out lightning waves. Catastrophe. Catastrophe. When AMON applies increased. So if you're applying shock damage, you get crit. Nice. Explosive Aegis. Effect. Max ranks per melee attack. That's really, really, really crazy. Total health. Scorching Smash is now Storm Guillotine. I'm imagining Ordnance cooldown. So you slam your sword and then you get a bunch of duration. That is going to be very, very important for AMON. And then we've got Electronic Flame when AMON 1 out of 1 point. Then we get to this middle tree. Force of Nature. When launching a fierce... Cool. New Revenant, shut up. Cool. Gary, you needed to bully me out of Remnant more. Because I used to say Leapic in TFD, and I got bullied enough for it that I stopped saying it. Cannon is Ordnance. I don't think Cannon is Ordnance, because Artillery is Ordnance. Cannon seems to be something else. Because it references cannon, but it also references artillery. And artillery seems to always be Ordnance. No, grenades are Ordnance. And it looks like also after, like, for a certain period of time. No? Combat damage and artillery damage. So this has a gun proc rate, and then this also has a gun proc rate. Weakness on enemies for a period of time. Weakened enemies deal reduced damage and take more damage. This has a gun proc rate, and then this also has a gun proc rate. That might just be a translation thing. This is specifically for gun critical hits. And gun critical hits would have a higher chance to proc this weakness than a normal gunshot would, because this is 8% per point. 10%? So gun critical hits would have a per point. When AMON uses melee attack, so gun critical hits would have a higher chance to proc that weakness debuff. 8% per. This was confused me. Hits. This says application rate is 8% with gun critical hits. Right? So you could proc weakness off of this later skill with 8% with gun critical hits. Right? But this early skill is gun rate plus 10%. Oh, you know what? It probably stacks. It's probably a 30% base to proc, and then an additional rate with gun critical hits. Can we also translate it to artillery? Interesting. I wonder, there would be no reason to have like 2 different words for ordnance, though. That's good to know. That has to be an additional rate on top of the base 30%. Because otherwise it's just less. You have a less chance to proc with gun critical hits. Okay. Hits. And gun critical hits would have a higher chance to proc this. And they would. Boom, boom, boom. We can put that on. Sorry about that. For gun critical hits. And gun critical hits would have a higher chance to proc this weakness than a normal gunshot would, because this is 8% per point. Attacks to cause damage. That's fixed. Replenished. Nice. I don't love. Interesting. Interesting. So you get a 33% pouring damage, and all of that damage that you store that you're stacking. I was wondering like what the big that chaining, if that cooldown stays in place, that chaining effect will not happen. Next we get blood. Dang, you've got a 25. Bam, bam, bam. Interesting. He's got a bunch of like touch when AMON. It's awesome. Once again, anything very cool that all of these things are synergies there. Okay, that is it for Red Tree. All right. This video is 50 minutes right now. And real quick, before we dive in, huge shout out to Brian Central, or Ryan Central. He's got both channels. He DM'd me a link where he had already translated all of the trees. So I'm going to be using his like drive link that he sent me. So huge shout out to him. I will have a link to Vengeance. Interesting. So whenever you launch, did this skill tree went pretty smooth, I think. I don't think there was any like big hiccups here. That sounds awesome. Wow. Okay, so repair kit. That is very nice. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry, we're almost done, and then we get to play games. Then we're playing games. The repair kit. Repair kits heal. Starting in the AMON's left tree, we've got increases AMON's ricochet damage, burn. By the way, do you guys want me to zoom this video? Like, would you prefer if the video is presented like this and my cameras are not in it? Or like see the whole tree? I could zoom in on parts. Less Moxie face is always better. True, true, true. Fiery Rebuke. Fiery Rebuke. Consume. Like, I could zoom in on all the augments, for example. Consume all Vengeful Rage and... This all looks pretty good. Next, we've got the middle. Dude. Storm Strike is a guarantee. Dude, what the fuck? This sounds insane. Dude, what the fuck? This sounds insane. Yo, Mountain, thanks for the Twitch private revealing. Thanks for the raid. For his skill. Welcome in, Raiders. How you doing? Am I done yet? Almost. I'm on the last tree. I'm editing the last tree. Green tree. Quick refresher. Not so. How is your stream, Mr. Revealing? Drones. I'm editing a video right now. Nearby enemies. And eating turkey. For his skills, we've got ball. Before the storm, kills. I think that's got to be a translation because you would want the. You'd want the bonus damage. Turkey, you say you have my attention. I've been eating. I've been on a bit of a health binge the past like 2 months, and so I eat this like dumb amount for lunch. It's gross, but it's like the calories / macros on it are really good. But it's slice of tomato, turkey, cottage cheese. Easy peasy. Eat a bunch of Dune Awakening. Nice. Nightmare Fuel sandwich. Mm-hmm. Usually throw some banana peppers on it. This is the one that we saw before where you get 15 new forged axes to 4 drones, but legally not even a sandwich. Often, but obviously, well, but you could like I could smush 2 of them together, but yeah, it's more of a, like an open face sandwich. Everything but the bagel seasoning. Initial thing here. They don't sell that anywhere but Trader Joe's. I've looked for it actually. Vital organs. Electric damage. I am currently 1 pound away from being 15 pounds down though, which is big pog. In love with the red tree. The red tree looks insane so far. Ooh, I don't know which I like more. Burning cold hit and no. All right, now for green. So go to Trader Joe's. Just for the seasoning? That's a lot of effort. Burning cold frost axes apply freeze on impact. The capstone. And it scales off. Boomerang. The double blade. So this is just more. So whenever you critically strike an enemy, you. Boom, 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 boom. But I would imagine that goes up. Very cool. It sounds like this skill tree kind of. Ooh. Detonation radius and damage. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Single target additional times. Guys, that. Ian Central for providing me with this Google. In the next one, guys, take care. Peace. Only 41-minute video. We cut it down in 20 or 19 minutes. You can't do cottage cheese. I've never had cottage cheese until I started trying to lose weight. I would never eat this unless I was trying to lose weight. Genuinely. And today we finally have the full AMON skill tree. Now, the past like few days, we've You can buy it off of Amazon, Pog.
Deal 40. Yo, guys, what? Action skill is a burning fist that you get 18 seconds to just pummel enemies with. However, it also gives you like 100% accurately, but starting with driving.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum.
With, however, it also gives you burning damage on your guns as well as shield. A melee attack where you can just like go full berserk with it, or you can just still use your guns while getting passive shield regen and burn damage on your weapons. For passive skills, and once again, these are rough translations from Chinese, so not everything is going to be worded like 100% accurately, but starting with driving force, kill skill increases aim on.
That YouTube comment? I can't. What YouTube comment? What'd I miss? How much for a 10-second chair sniff? $10. What the fuck? You love cottage cheese is plain. I see people blend it to get rid of the chunky thing.
Tier 1, that's really
Fidacious redeemed chair stream. Okay, no, that's a little much.
our first augment thermal.
I'm editing.
Or sorry, 3 stacks. Fist now has 2 modes. Deal 4 enemies in the Forge Storm will restore the duration of Amon's action. That you can like activate the fist and do the slam skill. It will detonate. Still could not.
Some of these like longer
Damage.
ones, I kind of want to zoom in on.
So gun and melee. AC melee damage and freezes and resoluteness for a period of bonus frost damage with your guns. And I'm imagining is the ability to place a fire is awesome. Eternal increases Amon's action skill duration and gun swap speed. Hail of bullets. Amon's bullets have a rebuke, ricochets additional times damage that ricochet will throw. So hopefully
Do anything, I think.
me ricocheting and dealing a bunch of mania.
Like that one's crazy. Like there's zero chance you're reading that on YouTube. Like look how small this text is.
Until thunder damage by enemy. hammers? And have a chance to trigger an explosion. Up to 3 times damage. Yo guys, what is up?
All right, video's done.
Video, and today we
Oh shit, I wasn't sharing my screen, was I?
The full AMON skill tree.
That's
now,
okay.
The past like few days, we basically
AMON skill tree video. Did it download in 1440p? 1 second. I'm just curious about something. Show more properties. It is. Cottage with cheese with tomatoes and fresh basil. Yup. Good option. Interesting. This is only giving me an option for 1080p or 4K. There's no preset for 1440p. DFD Borderlands 3 or roguelite today? Good question. Good question, sir. Gonna be honest, we might be playing some Destiny. This is the last day before the DLC drops. Oh. Wait, is stream lagging or are we good? I just started rendering a 40-minute video, so I might lag a bit. It is lagging. Stream's lagging. Oh boy. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna kill the YouTube stream and see if it fixes it. YouTube, I appreciate y'all hanging out. I'm gonna reboot this after this is done rendering, but I think the computer's getting overloaded. Gearbox just posted an AMON trailer. Holy shit! Wait, really? I'm moving at 10 FPS. Is it just my camera? Like, is this moving at a normal frame rate? No. Okay.